Hi everyone, welcome to 164 Diecast. At 9 a.m. on April 21st, 2026, the Mattel Redline Club, under the Mattel Creations label, put a new casting on sale. This casting was the 1988 Porsche 911 Turbo 3.3 Targa. Here's what the website had to say. Experience the thrill of the chase with this RLC exclusive 1988 Porsche 911 Targa Turbo. Often referred to by its code name, the 930, it was not only rare, but to this day is considered a performance icon thanks to its classic 1980s turbo styling, immense power, and open-air driving. This model year introduced the removable Targa top, so our first ever castings bring it to life. We added precision engine details beneath the opening rear hood and defroster lines on the rear window, also a Hot Wheels first. However, this sale was different from all the other sales in the short history of the Redline Club. This time, there was to be a chase car available. Mattel has done chase cars in the past, just not with the Redline Club. Combine a very popular car that collectors love with the Porsche 930, a brand new Hot Wheels casting with the Targa version, and throw in the first ever possibility of getting a chase car, which were limited to 5,000 total units, and you have the recipe for a very fast sellout. And sell out it did, within minutes. At 9 a.m. I was ready to go. I was logged in and had already done the CAPTCHA crap hole enough times to know how to get it right on the first try. When the Mattel clock hit 9 a.m., I immediately hit the reload button on my computer, clicked on 2 units, the max you could buy, did the CAPTCHA, and boom! I was in the purchasing queue showing a 30-minute wait to check out. In the past, even with very popular cars for sale, I never had more than a 3 to 4 minute wait. Not today. 32 minutes to be exact. So I waited. Longer than 32 minutes. I think it was actually about 35. But my turn came. I hit the purchase button, got a confirmation, and then my email dinged, letting me know I had successfully made my purchase. 2 cars. Only question now was, what would I get? I had hopes for one of each, but really expected 2 of the Spectraflame root beer cars, which was okay with me. I don't get all jacked up over chase type stuff. I just love the look of the car. I actually got my cars within 2 days. They came in a yellow manila style envelope, which I thought was a little odd. I opened the envelope and there were 2 identical brown boxes. The normal box most Redline cars arrive in. I opened both. 2 white boxes. Identical, with nothing to tell them apart. That was when I just assumed I got 2 root beer cars. I searched the outside of each box looking for anything that might give me a clue as to whether there was the same cars inside or whether one might be the chase car. And both had sealing tape on them. Damn. So I went on the internet to see if there was anything that might help me determine what I had without breaking the seal yet. Nothing. Nothing at all. What I did find were some videos of people who got 1 of each or got 2 root beer cars. That is when I figured it out. The only way to tell was to break the seal and look inside the outer white box. Brown box for the root beer, blue box for the chase. The Mattel site even showed that. I also found many people who waited in the queue line for 20 to 30 minutes only to be told when it was their turn that everything was sold out. There were more than a few angry collectors out there. If I had been shut out, I would have just moved on. I've been shut out before. I would rather lose out and keep the collectability in play than have Mattel overproduce. That was what killed the sports card industry back in the late 90s, early 2000s. So I opened them. First one was the brown box, root beer car. Very beautiful car. Then I opened the other box. I couldn't believe it. It was blue. I had one of each. I never get that lucky. A lot of people didn't get either car, but I hit the lottery for once and got both. This likely won't happen again, so I'm counting my blessings. I won't try to sell either one. I collect what I like. I just like putting them out to look at. The cars I have on display in my display case get cool comments when people come by to visit. It's my hobby. So I hope if you watch this, you are one of the lucky ones who got a car, no matter which one it was. And if not, I hope you get the next one. I wasn't going to do this video because there are so many out there about this particular car, and I try to do videos that can provide some value to you all. But I thought I would share my story on how I got lucky with two of the hardest cars to get. My understanding is Mattel is planning on doing more chase cars in the future. If I don't get a single one, I'll be happy no matter what. But I hope Mattel doesn't get carried away with chase cars and ruin the hobby. In the meantime, good luck, collectors, and happy hunting. And thank you for stopping by 164 Diecast. And we will see you on the next video.